Hey everyone, I'm with Justin and he is a healthcare executive. We're talking about interoperability and I'd love it if you could introduce yourself.
Yeah, awesome. Well, great to be speaking with you again for sure, and happy to be talking with everyone here as well. So my name is Justin Ramsaran, CEO of our group and Interoperability Connectivity Care Company as a whole. And what is interoperability? It's a big word of the day, and in reality, it really is simplified into connectivity and interconnectivity of different devices and data systems as a whole. In healthcare, the big issue you have is fragmented systems. Medical devices, data systems, all these fun things, and they never talk the same language. It's fragmented. And the key to interoperability is making all those devices either talk the same language or be able to send data back and forth to each other. So it's crazy to think that in 2025 that you've got smart light bulbs, you've got smart thermostats, all these fun things, and medical devices that are supposed to keep people alive don't connect and send data correctly. So that's interoperability in a nutshell for you.
And if you could say it, so we were talking on a more professional level, but if you could say it in a way where the viewers that have no clue what interoperability is, what is all this data stuff, like how would you explain it to them in more of a layman's terms?
Simple enough, right? We're making your medical devices smart, and we're making all the things in a hospital communicate in the same language. Interoperability.
Yes, and specifically why we work together essentially, or our colleagues, etc., is that for example with Her Health AI we have a product, and in order for it to get to the clinicians, to the hospital systems, there's a lot of regulations, hospital audits, protected patient data, and also essentially a way to connect our product with the hospital system, their management systems, and that's kind of, you are the missing link to that and solve that gap.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. So, and I guess when you think about interoperability, right, this large word is just another area of digital health as a whole. And digital health encompasses many different attributes, right? The connectivity portion, the ability to use different devices to interact inside these healthcare systems to move all of our patient data. So that's kind of the overarching, theme I think that we're both focused on, right? In the industry is how do we create better clinical outcomes, right? Doing that from a technological driven solution, and then being able to get clinicians to be more forward facing with patients again, right? The objective of data systems, of digital health, of interoperability is to get doctors out of these terminals, if you want to say, inside the EMR, medical records, and being able to communicate again back with optimized solutions.
Awesome. So what do you think is some of the biggest challenges that you face in your specific area in terms of interoperability for the professionals that are interested in having their technology, in healthcare and in the market?
Yeah, it's the friction point honestly comes down to merging, I would say, the clinical standpoint and then the data standpoint, right? Clinicians talk a different language, right? Doctors, MDs, they know what needs to happen, right? We know exactly what needs to happen in that moment to fix that patient and support them. But you've got software developers, you've got guys like myself on the other side that have to bridge that gap in order to help drive that connected solution. So it's education, and then being able to find a way to enable and adopt technological solutions and enable and adopt users to understand what's really going on. So that's the way I would kind of position that and see that today.
Okay. And what would be the first steps you would, in order for someone to come on board as your client, to work with you? How would you, approach that? What's this process?
We've done this, right, actually with quite a few startups now, and it's understanding your data. It's getting really smart and knowing what is important clinically, like I just noted, and what needs to be seen inside of a patient's file or patient data set to help that clinical outcome. So there's all these standards. There's HL7, there's FHIR, there's JSON. Again, all these are crazy lingos and industry terms, but all that is the communication languages that these devices, right, or these systems accept and listen to and will be able to chart. Epic, Cerner, all those out there speak a specific type of language. HL7 is one, FHIR or FHIR is another one as well. So if you're coming on into the industry, you want to make a new device or you want to connect to a new data system, understand the data source is the first piece, understand the importance of the clinical data that needs to be charted, and then understand the protocol. Those three areas will get you far beyond many startups as one piece, but far out ahead of many of the clinicians and a lot of the healthcare facilities that don't know their own data right now.
And what would you say to people that are the patients that are like, hey, I don't want anybody to have my data. This is all my health stuff. This is all jumbo mumbo to me. I don't understand it, and I just don't want anything to do with it. What would you say to them in regards to what you do, why it's important, why it's okay or even not okay, what should they be wary of and be concerned about, rightfully? So, give us your thoughts on that.
So security, right? You're talking about like HIPAA compliance, it is your information. I will tell you, it was an area that we focused on from a cybersecurity standpoint for well over 8 years or more. A patient's record on the black web goes for about $145 per data set, right?
Wow.
It's more expensive than your credit card information. So healthcare facilities as a whole, again, as our group, many other companies that work with your data, it's important to know that it is encrypted, right? That your information is being used in two different ways, right? De-anonymized data removes your patient information, your demographics, right? Your age, your weight, your sex, things like that. So it's a raw data set. And that is where healthcare facilities use that information to propel next generation data systems and intuitively build new models. And this is inherent, right? In 2013, there was the HIPAA Act, right, which forced everyone to also have to secure patient data and also handle what's called the High-Tech Act, where it enforced digitization of information. So both of those combined are continuously, iteratively being monitored as one piece and are always driving facets around how new devices and new systems have to integrate into today's society systems in healthcare.
Okay. So, what are some of the challenges that you see in the future for somebody that wants to make a digital health technology or, in general, we're in the AI world now. What are some of the challenges that you foresee in regards to interoperability in healthcare?
The friction point, and I'll say it, is I was part of the problem, right? I was on the medical device side for well over 10 years, and instead of democratizing the information, a lot of medical device vendors and healthcare facilities end up in this kind of Spider-Man three-way point moment where you're the problem or it's the device's problem or it's IT's problem. Removing that barrier, right, to entry of the device and then the data, making everyone have access to it is the most important piece. So the data sharing between the ecosystem of what's occurring in that healthcare system is the way we resolve, right, or the way we make a better system advance downstream for the different populations you're working with. So instead of the device vendors saying you can only connect with this specific platform, instead of the Epics and Cerners of the world saying we're only going to work with other Epic systems, there's actually been some new frameworks that have come out in the last 3 to 5 months. One's known as TEFCA, and the other one's known as QHIN. One's a Qualified Health Integrated Network, and the other one is a Trusted Exchange Framework as well. So,
Thank you. We ordered some food. We're actually at the Wave Hotel because we are currently trying to potentially have a conference for healthcare executives, VCs, and hopefully investors, all types of people, doctors, physicians. So we're working in general in the digital health space, and we're hoping that maybe in the fall we'll be able to have this beautiful venue here in sunny Florida, and we want everybody to come by. We have an amazing event, hopefully, that we're brainstorming. Yeah. So we are here checking out the venue.
Excited for it, hence the coffee and the snacks. So, I mean,
exactly.
This is the way we expected it.
It's more of a coffee talk and a little bit of education along the way.
I can't complain on that. So yeah, to those points, right, it's frameworks and it's finding ways to kind of handle what's to happen next, as what I would see in the education standpoint for that.
Okay. And then, so what would you explain, what would you say to someone that doesn't know what FHIR is and all of these compliance? I mean, we do know a little bit what HIPAA. How about this? We'll do it for somebody that doesn't know entirely, that's not in the industry. So what is HIPAA? What is FHIR and certain regulations and data privacy that is important to interoperability?
So HIPAA is your security standard. That's what helps essentially secure patient data, right? It's what a framework that's in place from hospitals, from the government, to ensure that the information you have is stored and safe and is not let off to other people. So go to any doctor to say, hey, I can't share that information with you because it's against our policy. It's your personal information, right? Again, another one that's known as PHI, your personal health information. It's like an identity card. So that is that framework. That's that one piece of what it is. And we talk about FHIR, FHIR, Fast Healthcare Interoperability Framework, I think. I can't remember what the R is, to be honest with you. But truthfully, it is a way to allow developers to connect information to other data systems like Epic and Cerner in a quicker fashion. HL7 is an antiquated legacy type of code structure. Think of Excel versus ChatGPT right now, right? One of the easiest ways to think of it. Excel is like HL7, where it's tabular and trended like that, and columns and grids, and then you've got FHIR, which operates instantaneous, right? Very quickly in a simplified format. Like you would ask ChatGPT a question, it sends and receives that information quickly.
Awesome. So we've covered a lot, and hopefully you guys, learned some things new if you didn't, and if you did, now you know Justin and where to reach him and things like that. We definitely have some really cool things planned coming up. Hopefully this conference / a gala night, a wonderful evening out here in Orlando, Florida, in the medical city of Lake Nona. So that will come probably in the summer, in the fall. We'll give more information about that. And is there anything else that you wanted to mention on the chat or for the people to know?
No, I mean, the biggest thing I think I would take away is there's a lot of transformative things happening in healthcare as the industry as a whole. Be it an end consumer, be it a clinician, be it even us, right? Every day the landscape is changing. So being aware of that, I think, is important. And I think the way that we can all continue to educate and then work with doctors and MDs to augment and help increase their efficiencies as a whole is going to be the biggest thing moving forward for us all.
Oh, that's awesome. It's great to end on that note. And I think that utilizing technology is just going to benefit people's health, welfare. Hopefully, if we can do it correctly with the correct regulations, efficiencies, operations, hopefully we can lower the costs and also provide more access to people as well. So with these innovations, and we need everyone, every skill set out there. So I'm grateful for your time, your knowledge, and thank you so much.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for the time.
All right. Bye, guys.